Hey guys, I'm Hoodlum Scrafty of Team Subs, and if you want to support the MBL even more so than just watching, then go ahead and click that link in the description and get yourself a shirt. Thank you.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Multi-Battle League channel. I'm that guy Harvey and you're watching the weekly recap for week 10. This week, I'm joined by Kabutero.
Again, hello.
Very short, very sweet. We're not going to skip too much of this intro. We're coming into the last couple of weeks of the season and we're all very excited because there's a lot going on. Unfortunately, there isn't too much going on for Team Juice. Send help, they've gone missing. Team Drinky Birds and Team Juice was forfeited to Team Drinky Birds. They pick up a 3-0 win. And it's slightly annoying to see, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I know that you got a bit frustrated with it.
It'd be nice to see them show up and play. I know that they have literally zero chance of, making playoffs and whatnot. But I just feel like that doesn't mean you completely give up. You gotta go out, guns blazing. You gotta go out,
go out and try and foil everyone else's chances.
Yeah, you don't want people to look back on this season and be like, oh yeah, Team Juice, they gave up halfway through the season and they just completely vanished for the last couple weeks. Or do you want them to be like, alright, well, Team Juice, they didn't make playoffs, but they had some really good games. I'd rather go for the latter. And
they did. They've had some fantastic games this season. Right, let's get into all the matches for this week. We're going to start with arguably the match of the week, I would say. Team Jamie versus Team Subs. Team Jamie bringing this week Porygon Z, Mega Blastoise, Yan Mega, actually touching the field this time. Dragalge, Victini, and Superior. Team Subs with Mega Lucario, Mew, Clefable, Raikou, Hitmontop, and Druddigon, which showed up for the first time and did basically nothing because it was blown back very, very quickly.
That made me sad. Love Druddigon. This was an absolutely amazing match. I absolutely loved watching this match. There were so many good plays from both sides. I really liked the nasty plot, Mew baton passing into the Raikou.
Yes, that was a really nice setup by them.
They did, and then they had the follow me support. The feint on Hitmontop was also very nice.
Yes, feint Hitmontop. They started running through the middle order of Team Jamie with that, knocking down Mega Blastoise quite easily. Yan Mega went down without too much of a fight. It took out Porygon Z after it taken out Clefable with the Breakneck Blitz, and they were running complete havoc over the middle order up until Dragalge was finally able to knock it out with Sludge Bomb. But up until that point, I honestly thought Team Subs were going to come away with the win.
Yeah, I was expecting that too, actually. But Team Jamie they're more experienced in battling and things like that. It really came through. It didn't seem like Team Subs had anything for Dragalge. They had, Druddigon, but Druddigon wasn't going to kill it.
Yes, and that was it. That appeared to be it. That, and I would imagine Clefable, even though it was only neutral damage, but that was it.
So yeah, it was only the Clefable for neutral and Druddigon for super effective.
Which was unfortunate. And Team Jamie turned on the start a bit at the end of the match. Brutal swinging to prop their own weakness policy on Victini, knocking out Hitmontop in the process. And Victini just ran through the back end of Team Subs, knocking out Mew and Mega Lucario to wrap up the match. A 2-0 victory for Team Jamie. Rightfully deserved on their part, but a lot of credit should be given to Team Subs. They played fantastic.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get to see the role play from Victini coming out so they could start V-creating and boosting up.
Oh yeah, yes, that was a nice tech I heard about after the game, which I really actually wanted to see. That would have made this game just a little bit better. And it would also be absolutely terrifying to be in the face of a Victini constantly boosting itself.
And speaking of absolutely terrifying, I'm going to use that to transition into the next match.
Oh, absolutely.
We have Team Leekie versus Team Not Scald. Team Leekie bringing Sylveon, Ambipom, Necrozma, Rotom Frost, Mega Beedrill, and Mega Gyarados, which, spoiler alert, didn't even hit the field. And Team Not Scald brought Arcanine, Suicune, Celesteela, Buzzwole, Leekie, and Mega Garchomp.
It's one of those games that just spiraled out of control very quickly.
Yeah, I know that people have been saying that, Omni Boost is really strong, and Omni Boost just is really powerful, and this is one of those games where it's been showcased how good it can be. I'm not saying, whether or not it needs to be banned for Season 3. That's not really what I'm trying to get the point across here. I'm just trying to say that this is a very powerful strategy that we've seen beating teams very thoroughly so many times. A lot of the time, actually, it has been Not Scald versus Jamie, for example, and now versus Leekie. It seems like Omni Boosting is something that Not Scald is having troubles with, that they're definitely going to want to look into whenever they get into the playoffs. They're going to need something more reliable for phasing than, say, a Dragon Tail Leekie, because as we saw, Dragon Tail Leekie just drop. I said it last week, I'll say it again, haze. You gotta use haze. If you don't have a mon that has haze, of course, you know, you gotta find some other way around it, but haze is just like one of the best ways to do it, because you don't have to worry about negative priority, so you don't have to worry about being taunted, you don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff.
They have 2 raw mobs on their team. Like, come on! That could have been an option. There's a lot they could have done.
I mean, the taunt from Ambipom really shut down a lot of it.
Absolutely. It was just really well set up by the Sylveon, really well executed, and the psych up from Rotom Frost. And forgive me for fanboying for a minute, but oh Jesus, Rotom Frost was a monster in this match.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible.
Someone, please hold it back. It just can't be stopped. I was really happy to see, well, not particularly Rotom Frost do this well, but to see this level of control from Team Leekie. They were always in control of this match, and they never looked like on the back foot at any point. And they've been really building over the last few weeks. They built up a lot of momentum these last few weeks with some really big wins that have etched them closer and closer to those playoff spots. And seeing them grow in confidence, it's really entertaining to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought this was one of the less. You know, I don't want to say, you know, straight up like, oh, it's a bad team. It just didn't seem cohesive to me when I first looked at it. But obviously, since it's, you know, Leekie's team and not mine, they know a lot more about its inner workings than I do. And it seems like they're really putting it together.
At first, you look at that team, those 6 days, think, what's going to happen here? You then see it in motion, and you're like, oh, wait, this is actually good. Stored power on Necrozma, brilliant. It was quite obvious what they were doing anyway, but you can't fault it. It worked, and when it works so well. Clearly, it just blew back, not scored. I think on that, we can move on to our next game. Team We Disney versus Team Cyberbaz. Team We Disney finally bringing Frostlass. It showed up to its first game at long last, alongside Tornadus Incarnate, Landorus Incarnate, Tapu Koko, Gyarados, and Magmortar. Team Cyberbaz with Raichu, Mega Aerodactyl, Jirachi, Azumarill, Breloom, and Nidoqueen. The exact same team as last week, I believe.
Yep, it looks like literally the exact same team.
No changes, no subs. Yep, but don't fix what ain't broken. And by God, it wasn't. At least at the end of the match, it wasn't.
This was a very good game, and it really showed off just how creative or thinking out of the box the Cyberbaz can be. Not many people would think to use Spore in electric terrain, but Cyberbaz knows about the interaction that flying types can be put to sleep, and so they're just like, all right, let's stop. Magmortar follow me means nothing if the other Pokemon is asleep, so we'll Spore, we'll Belly Drum the Azumarill, pray for dear life we don't get burned by Flame Body, which didn't happen, and then just run through. I mean, I don't even think the burn would have stopped anything.
No, it wouldn't. The end game was just a massive snowball, but I want to talk about the start of the match. Really nice prep from Team We Disney on the Frostlass. Destiny Bond was beautiful. I loved it. The Raichu Gigavolt Havocing into the slot, knocking it out. I found that fun to see. I really did.
Yeah, I like the Charty Berry from Tornadus Eye, expecting the Aerodactyl lead.
They predicted that really well. Team We Disney played brilliantly at the start of the match, but that one misplay of switching Tapu Koko out, expecting Azumarill, I think they were expecting Azumarill to go out, I believe. Not wanting it to stay in against Tapu Koko, but it was a really risky play from Team Cyberbaz, staying in and getting the belly drum off while they Spore the Gyarados. It was very risky because We Disney could have easily knocked out that Azumarill. Could have just dropped it straight on his back.
Yeah, I don't even think a Walk-On Berry would have saved it. And if it did, it wouldn't be able to belly drum anyway.
It's unfortunate that one play just really turned the tide on the entire match. Cyberbaz were able to just snowball the match out of control, knocking out Magmortar with the Aqua Jet, knocking out Landorus with Aqua Jet, and Breloom putting in a little bit more work as well with the Bullet Seed and the Spore. I think it's probably in a good running for a defensive MVP award, at least supporting, or even overall MVP. We're thinking of doing an awards at the end of the season. More details on that in the next few weeks. But I don't think there's much more we can say about this match. Cyberbaz played very well. So did We Disney up until that one play where it all just went away from their hands. And that kind of takes the Top Cut situation out of their hands, which we will talk a little bit about when we get into the standings. And with that, let's go on to the next match. We have Team Blue Hunnets and Team Flawless. Kabu, take it away.
On Team Blue Hunnet side, we have Electivire, Tapu Lele, Rotom Heat, Togetic, Deoxys, and Kyurem. And Team Flawless with Hoopa Unbound, Infernape, Togekiss, Magearna, Tentacruel, and Mamoswine. So this is pretty much Team Flawless just running through Blue Hunnets. Really, it hurt to watch.
Yeah, this is Team Flawless at their best. They played magnificently this match. it was that good. I don't have much to say about it myself. They played really well around the Electivire, getting rid of it very quickly. They played very well around the potential Rotom, any kind of shenanigans with that. They played really well around Psychic Terrain, which would have been a hindrance to their Infernape if it wasn't carrying both Fire Punch and Close Combat alongside it. They are carrying Fire Punch this week because they didn't want to miss any heat waves. God knows they don't want that anymore.
I really feel like Blue Hunters should have taken care of the Infernape sooner than they did, because it was a constant presence, doing so much damage. The Encore threat meant they couldn't do their game plan of follow me and Calm Mind Tapu Lele.
Getting the Magina in very quickly was very crucial to them. They were able to get the Magina in turn 9, I believe, just as Deoxys was taking out the Tentacruel with Zen Headbutt, and that started the Magina train. This is why it's being banned for Season 3, everybody.
I don't want to completely dumpster, Blue Hunters. I did see some things that were pretty cool. For example, they ran Signal Beam for the Hoop Unbound. Instead of running, Psychic along with that, just so they didn't have to have a defense-lowering nature or whatnot, they went with Zen Headbutt for the Tentacruel, because Tentacruel has a lot higher special defense than it does regular defense. Defense is base 65, and its special defense is base 110.
It's a massive difference.
It's a very big difference, and if it wasn't for the really nice play of having the Pyapa Berry on the Tentacruel, it would have been a much better situation. Tentacruel was gone, couldn't Sludge Wave or anything like that, Sludge Wave was a big threat to the Lele and the Togetic. I believe the Togetic was dead at this point, but in either case, that's still one less thing you got to worry about.
I think it was still alive just about to the end of the match, where we saw a brilliant play. Zed Snatch Hooper Unbound, stealing the Tailwind from the Togetic, which really wrapped up the game. It ensured that nothing from Blue Hunters' side, being Deoxys, Kyurem, and Togetic, I believe at that point, Tapu Lele as well, nothing on that side could outspeed the rest of their team. And from there, they were just able to clean up with Hyperspace Fury and Flash Cannon from Magina. Like I say, this is Team Flawless at their best. It's a shame that, as we'll explain a little bit later, that playoffs are a little bit out of their hands right now. They were, at least this season, a real threat to deal with. Similarly, you can't fault Blue Hunters at all. Their prep has been great, their battles have been really good to watch, and they've been improving all season. So if they were staying together for Season 3, I'd have no doubt that they'd be playoff contenders.
Speaking of playoff contenders, let's go into our next match, which is Team Dream Ball versus Team Mythical. Team Dream Ball having the classic Drifblim, Tapu Fini, and Zygarde 50%, Scrafty, Heatran, and Absol. Everybody was excited about. Don't get too excited. Didn't even hit the field. Team Mythical with the Mega Medicham, Magnezone, Nidoking, Garchomp, Guzzlord, Rabombi. And the first thing I want to say is Mythical finally did it. They brought Speed Swap on Rabombi. They finally did it. I've been waiting all season. They have so many mons that are held back by their speed, and they finally done it. And then they ran Hammer Arm on the mon they speed swapped,
which lowered its speed,
which kind of confused me. But aside from that, they're halfway there.
But that's not the point.
This was a very good game, despite a lot of the disasters on Team Dream Ball side. What with the unfortunate disconnection of the phone.
Oh yeah.
Marcus just not being able to talk. His DS almost dying.
Oh dude, there's always one problem with them, isn't there?
It was like Wolfie said, they had to believe in the heart of the card. It was like that one Yu-Gi-Oh episode that he referenced. Other than that though, it was a very well played out game. There were a couple close spots there, like the Ice Punch on the Mega Medicham, knocking out the Drifblim.
Oh yeah, that. They brought the wrong Medicham. Yes, they were meant to be their Jolly Medicham. They brought their Adamant Medicham by accident. But even though it was Adamant, it was still the highest possible roll to one-shot that Drifblim. Dream Ball countered it very specifically, and it was the highest possible roll to knock it out, and they got it. Even Mythical was surprised. I think Joe was really surprised that the Medicham was able to knock it out. They're like, oh, there it goes. That's fine.
There was also another mini disaster where I believe Wolfie said to bring in Heatran. And Marcus instead brought in Scrafty. And that actually turned out amazing because that was a turn that Garchomp clicked Earthquake.
Oh yeah, that turned out to be a really good turn, but I didn't know it was a mistake.
I just watched this right before we came in here, and I believe Wolfie said that he was like, oh yeah, I'm really glad you didn't go with Heatran like I said, or something to that effect. Mythical has gotten it to the point where they have that main strategy now. This time their strategy was get Guzzlord all set up, give him the speed swap with Rabombi, use the other members of the team to weaken the front lines of Dream Ball, and then towards the end have Guzzlord power through. Didn't turn out as they expected, but the fact that they had one cohesive strategy and they stuck with it really shows signs of improvement that I'm very, very happy to see. Despite the score on the screen that you're looking at right now, I still think this is a very good showing from Mythical.
I would be inclined to agree with that. They have been identifying some of their problems that they've had in previous weeks, like clicking their moves too quickly, which they didn't do this week. So I'm very happy to see that. And they have been working on them, and hopefully would like to see them back. Anything more you would like to add to this?
No, let's go right into the standings.
Yep, we have the standings after week 10, and now you see a lot more red on your screen because of Team Leekie's win this week. Team Flawless, Blue Hunnets, and Subs can all no longer make the playoffs. It was a very slim chance that they could to begin with, but unfortunately they can't anymore. And due to We Disney's loss this week to Cyberbaz, they fall out of the top 6 for the first time in, I believe, the first time this season. Maybe the first or second time this season they've fallen out of the top 6, and they need results to go their way in the last week in order to make it back into the top 6. Speaking of, we'll go into that now, and you see a lot more green on your screen now, with Dricky Birds, Dreamball, Jamie, and Not Scored now 100% confirmed for playoffs. Top 2 isn't yet confirmed yet, and you'll be able to hear more about those scenarios in the weekly preview with Toast and Jason. As a Cyberbaz, you see still top of your screen there, 8 and 2. They have the best chance of qualifying. Team Dricky Birds second there on plus 11 difference. The caveat to this, however, is Team Dricky Birds and Team Cyberbaz play each other in the last week, so the winner of that match will get the #1 spot overall, and that is a very nice spot to have.
It definitely is. Alright, so we've seen the team standings, now let's get into the MVP standings. First place, Zygarde.
Again.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Second place, in a completely unforeseen outcome, Magearna. Third place, we have Azumarill.
Yes, Azumarill makes it back into the top 10 for the first time, I believe, since week 1 or 2. I can't quite remember which it is, or even 3. It's very early in the season we saw it, but you can see there, Porygon Z isn't in the top 3.
He's been dethroned.
Yes, but the duck is still right behind it. In fact, it has the same number of kills. Tappy Finny, though, is staring both of them down on 11. Breloom is on 10 in 6th place. Zapdos falls to 7th. Kieran Black falls to 8th, both on 10. And this makes me happy to say for the first time, we may have lost Rotom Heat from the top 10, but Rotom Frost takes up the mantle in 9th. That is all I've been looking forward to this video. I can say Rotom Frost is on 9 kills and is ahead of Darmanitan in 10th. I've had my fun this week. There's still a lot that can change, though, in this final week. I say this every week, but this list is so volatile that it could change at any moment. Pheromosa, Rotom Heat, Necrozma, and Arcanine are all on 9 kills, just outside of these places in 11th to 14th. You have Metagross on 8 kills itself, just outside. Celesteela could do well next week. It's also on 8. Raichu, Boswell, Lando, both Landos actually, Coco and Hoopa are all on 8 as well. So there is a lot that can still change on this list, and including into the playoffs as well, where we will see some of these mons no longer involved. This is the likes of Kieran Black and Magearna, which will no longer be involved, so they'll most likely fall from these standings quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who will take up the second place mantle.
We're going to have a lot of fun watching these last few weeks of the MBL into week 11 and into the playoffs as well, which will start in a few weeks' time. We'll let you know as soon as possible all about Top Cut. And with that, we end the weekly recap for week 10. I've been that guy Harvey, and I've been joined by Kabutero this week. Thank you very much for joining me.
I had no problem. Pleasure to be here as always.
And with that, we wish you a very good night. Goodbye!